you're viewing from. This is Laura Thompson with TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach, and it's Women's History Month. And we are celebrating women all month long through the end of the month. I was just counting today, and we've interviewed, you'll be the 23rd person that we've interviewed since the beginning of the month. And so we're super excited to honor women. And I'm a living history type person, and so I like to honor people while they're still alive so that they can tell their own story.
That's
So, so,
right.
so what we're going to do today is just, first of all, I'd like for you to tell people who you are, what you do, where you're from, and all of those good things, and then we'll get right into the interview. We're going to start way back and move up to where you are now.
All right. Well, my name is Marissa McKinnies, and I am a Black woman who's out here trying to make a difference in the world. I
Okay.
have to say that specifically because I'm intentional with my words. Um, I can't tell you where I'm from. I'm a military brat. And so if you ask me where I'm from, I claim Berlin because that was where I was in my adolescence and that was my
Wow.
fondest memories in my life. But I'm a transplant for Texas. I've been in San Antonio for 30 years. Can't
Okay.
believe it's been that long, but that's where I'm from. So that's just a little bit of my history.
Okay. So you grew up in Berlin most of your
Was there,
childhood?
no, I was there middle school and the beginning of my high school. So eighth grade through I left at the end of my sophomore year.
Okay. So
Mhm.
you what city or state were you born in? Were you born in the States?
Again, I was born Manila, Philippines.
Oh wow, how cool.
Mhm.
How cool.
Yeah, I
So
was born in the Philippines.
wow, so you got a taste of all different experiences and cultures. So
Absolutely.
that's pretty phenomenal. So
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
us a little bit about, living in those different places if you can remember.
Mhm. Well, so growing up military, there's actually I was a co-author for a book that some of my military brats, seven of us got together and wrote about growing up military and how
Okay.
that shaped us into who we are today. I would honestly say that the majority of us, because you never can say all, the majority of us that grew up military grew up without bias of color,
Right.
disabilities or things of that nature because living overseas especially we had to understand the importance of community. And
Hmm.
so because we were off in a foreign country, you are subject to being lost, doing
Wow.
things that you may, that is against their culture. So you have to learn quickly and on the fly. So having
Wow.
that support of people that were American, like you're American, and they grew up with those similar experiences, it helped us understand the importance of loving your neighbor, trusting your neighbor, having the back of the person that's standing next to you. It may not be from your same race. It may not be from your same religious denomination. They may not even have the same sexuality preferences as you. But what mattered is that we're sharing this unique experience together. So that is how I developed into who I am today. I see a person. I don't see a color or any barrier that many other people see because of the unique experience that I was a part of.
Wow. So that's phenomenal. So you had to learn different cultures. Did you learn different languages? Like in the Philippines, did you have to learn
So
some of their language?
So in the Philippines, I was actually born there, but my family PCS'd, I believe, to Ohio shortly after I was born. So I have no memories of the Philippines except for my baby book where my mother put the pictures and things of,
Oh,
the huts and all those different, uniqueness from the Philippines. But in Europe, yes, the growing up in the overseas DoD school system, it was a requirement that you took a foreign language if you were in the DoD system as a child in elementary school, because
mhm.
elementary was kindergarten through fifth grade, and then sixth grade through 12th grade was all high school.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, yeah, so that was kind of
Two
different.
levels, right?
So my sister was there in her elementary school year, so she was required to learn German. So whatever country you're in elementary, you have to learn that language. And
Wow.
so she took German while I took Spanish because I had the option. And so Spanish, it was not of much use there, but Spanish students did get to go on a spring trip break to Barcelona and
Wow.
Madrid during the spring break time. So, I mean, there's, may not have been the culture, but there was opportunities for being overseas.
Wow. And so fast forward, you took Spanish and now you're in San Antonio, Texas. And
Yeah.
so are you still fluent? Were you fluent in Spanish or are you
I was actually level 3 Spanish. I was conversational when I moved here. And I took conversational Spanish here because I was pretty confident and secure in my language. And I kept getting F's on my paper my
what?
junior year. And I was like, what is this? This is perfect. This is flawless. Why am I not, getting the right stuff? And every time I spoke in class, she would always furrow her eyebrow and frown at me. And so
Wow.
finally she talked to me a few weeks into the semester. She was like, she goes, "Where did you learn Spanish at?" I said, "In Berlin." And she says, "You probably took Castilian. That's the proper language." She goes, "This is Tex-Mex." So some
Really?
of the things that you're saying, it is actually offensive to us. She says, "So you have to go back to Spanish 1 and learn the Spanish all over again because it's not
Wow.
the same."
Wow. I was wondering
Yeah.
if you were going to say that, but Tex-Mex in a textbook?
Right. That's what's like. It's the same. It should be the same. But she said, no, it's different. It's not
Wow.
that they were necessarily teaching Tex-Mex, but whatever dialect they was
Mm.
teaching, it was not what I learned. And so
Oh,
there
okay.
was differences. Like I remember I went to Judson High School, go J Rock.
All right,
And
Rockets.
their chair, I forgot something, bing boom ba, rockets, rockets, rah, rah, rah. And I would say it, but the word for rockets, the way I was saying it, the way I learned it, it actually said flatulence. So I was saying, go fart, rah, rah.
Well, I can see where that may have been a little offensive. Right?
Yes.
That is too funny. That
And
is too
so
funny.
that's when she pulled me aside and she was like, "No, ma'am, you have to go back to Spanish 1 because you don't know the same word." So I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wow, wow, that is too funny. So,
Yes,
so you said you graduated from Judson High School, so you were
I did.
here. You were here for your high school year. So how was that? Was it a culture shock to come to San Antonio and come to uh, schools in San
It
Antonio?
wasn't. It wasn't because I moved to San Antonio. I never forget, May 31st, 1991. That's when our plane landed here in San Antonio, Texas. But because I'm a military world traveled anyway, so we've
Right.
lived, overseas and in the US. So I was used to having to adapt, always a new kid on the block. And which teaches you, you never get too comfortable. You always got to be ready on the fly to go. So
Hmm.
that transition and getting into the school district, none of that was different. What was different was experiencing high school football
Wow.
because in Europe, yes, football, all the sports mattered. It was always the same competition, but being there and seeing the amount of students and the, how many people came to the games and, experiencing that was a whole different thing. And I really enjoyed that experience.
Wow. So that's pretty
Hmm.
awesome. So
Yeah.
so what other types of activities did you participate in high school?
So, and I was busy. In high school, I was, um, well, I left Germany in concert band. I tried out for band here, but it was more of the marching band and I didn't have experience. So I
Wow.
had to flip and I joined the Ujama Club.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, I was an officer with the Ujama Club, which I loved to pieces. And I was also a member of the Forensics League, so that was speech, drama, and debate. I was a champion Lincoln debater. That tongue would move really fast. I spoke within 2 minutes because I used to always talk fast growing up. Well,
Mhm.
it paid off in high school because I was able to Lincoln debate like nobody's business, and I brought home several trophies. And also not trophies, but medals because I won. And then also in drama, I was in acting all the time. And
Wow.
so I did a lot of plays, I did the plays in high school, but when I went off to college, that carried with me. Um, And then I founded a group in college where we went around traveling, teaching African American history by bringing, because I went to a PWI. I went
Wow.
to my alma mater, Hardin Simmons University, which I believe was the most precious experience in the world. Um, but it was a very small amount of us African Americans that was there, 2% population minority, and that was all minority. And
Wow.
so, yeah, it was a few of us. So me and my four friends, we started a group and we would travel around educating on Black history awareness. And so my drama kept forth with me. Um, and so those are the things that I did in high school. I did the same in college and enjoyed myself. It was always about educating, learning, and making my footprint wherever I landed.
Wow. So, I haven't known you up close and personal,
Hmm.
but, I've come across you and I heard about your foundation. I think that's when I first learned about you. But
Yes,
wow,
ma'am.
I didn't know that you were involved in all these different things and that you were a world traveler and from a military family. Did you serve in the military?
I tried. I tried when I was in college. It's a funny story. When I was in college, I tried my best to join the military. I was in Army ROTC. I wanted to follow my family, but again, it was Army ROTC. Mom and Dad were Air Force, and
Okay,
so that was already different because hey, Army is okay. I mean, you get a nice man in Army because they have the cute guys, but
right.
Air Force is where the brainiacs are, and so
So they don't
and
have
so
any cute guys in the Air Force?
I mean, they do, but I was a little
Right,
girl,
right.
So when I joined the Army ROTC when I was in college, and I tell this story, and it shames my parents because they were amazing, but their daughter was something different. I tried it, and then in April there was a bad snowstorm in Abilene. The snow was up to your shin, and
Wow,
so they closed the city down, right? And so we had PT every day at 5 a.m. Rain, sleet, or snow. You had
wow,
PT.
wow.
Well, that was the first time I had experienced that, rain, I mean, that snow thing. And so when I looked on the TV and they said that the city was shut down, I was like, well, cool, I'm going back to bed, you know?
They said,
And
uh-uh.
I was on the first full floor corner suite in my dorm. My roommate was also in ROTC with me. We were the two girls. And so they did cadence to the dorm.
Wow,
They stood outside of our window, rapped on the window, and they was like, Cadet McKinnies, Cadet Bennett, PT is on front and center. And I
wow.
was like, she says, are you going to go? I said, there's snow on the ground. And so the platoon captain came to the window and he was like, Cadet McKinnis, he says, there is just because there's snow on the ground, it does not mean that PT does not happen. You need to come outside, be fully dressed. You have 5 minutes to be out here. And I
Wow.
looked at him and I was like, look,
Boy,
I
bye.
said, the city is shut down, and so am I. And so he was like, Cadet McKinnis, he says, the war does not end because there's snow on the ground. And I said, well, thank God I'm not in the war. I closed my
They said she's a
and
little
I
bit
got
too
back in the
feisty
bed.
for us.
My roommate got up and she left because her dad was also Air Force too. She got up, got dressed, and she went out. I didn't go. I had so many demerits. I had to run so much. I mean, he punished me, but he was like, he brought me to the office. He says, "So your parents, they were Air Force, weren't they?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, explains everything.
Get out of here. That is too funny. So, so,
Yes,
so you had a taste of military life.
I
So,
did.
do you have siblings?
I have four siblings. I'm the oldest, the
Okay,
original. They kept trying to recreate perfection and mess up every time.
stop it.
And so I have two sisters and I have two brothers,
Okay.
and none of
Wow.
them served.
Wow. So all
Mhm.
of y'all were in the Philippines and then Germany and San Antonio.
Just the top three. So myself, my sister, and my brother, the top three, we were the ones that were in Europe.
Oh, okay. And
And the
so,
bottom two, born and raised in Texas.
okay, okay. So, So wow. So you after you the after the military didn't work out, then what did you do?
So I joined, well, I started in my university. There was I talk about Black history a lot because that's who I am, right? And
Okay.
so at my university, seeing that there was a lack of programming for Black History Month. So I
Hmm.
pitched it to our dean of students. I got real close with them, and I said, "Hey, I said, you notice Black History Month is February 1st through 28th. Well, here in our book, because we had chapel, I went to it was a Baptist university. So I showed them the chapel book. I was like, we have Black History Week here. And I said, but
Hmm.
of Black History Week, we have Black History Day. And that Black History Day is only discussed in chapel, and chapel is only 45 minutes. And in
Wow.
that 45 minutes, we have a non-Black pastor talking to us for 15 minutes about Black History Month. I think there's an opportunity here. And she says, well, I hear your point. What would you suggest? She says, if you're coming to me with a problem, you have to bring with me a solution. I said, I'm glad you asked. I had already laid out a full program for
Wow.
Black History Month of doing educational readings in the library for students, putting together an entire program in chapel one day. They gave us a full 45 minutes chapel to do a Black History program, flew in Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu to speak
Wow.
for us.
Wow.
They opened it up to all three universities, McMurray University, Abilene Christian University, and mine, Hardin Simmons University. They opened it up to the students to come to have a soul food cook-off, of which the
Wow.
school sponsored all the food, and the professors cooked for us, and I mean the whole month, and then they repeated it the next year. And so that's the mark that I left when I graduated. All the professors stood up when I walked across the stage. I
Oh, wow.
did that, and that was my biggest mark. And guess what? The program is still there.
Oh,
They
I was going
still
to
are
ask you
doing
that.
the
Wow.
program there. Yes,
That's
yes.
phenomenal. All
And
right,
so
Women's History Month.
yes, so those were just
Wow.
some of the things I continue to do, and that's why today I'm here for the Put Away Cancer Foundation, because making a difference. My parents are heroes, so I had to figure out what cape I could put on to be a hero to be similar to them.
Wow. So let's go. Let's talk about the Put Away for Cancer Foundation. Is that the name of it? Put Away
Away Cancer.
Foundation for Cancer.
Mhm.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing this?
So the Put Away Cancer Foundation, we are now celebrating year 10.
Okay.
I
Awesome.
began it in 2015, and I actually came upon the foundation by accident. Because I was turning 40, those decade years are monumental. Your
Hmm.
50th, your 40th, your 60th. So I wanted to do something that was long standing, and it wasn't going to be just another pajama jammy jam or, sexy red night or something. And so when I prayed about it, I honestly was like, well, what is it that I can do? And the Lord said, do a golf tournament.
Wow.
And I was like, golf tournament. Oh God, you funny because I can't golf. I may look cute in a uniform, but I can't golf. And so after, thinking, talking it over and thinking about it for a little bit, it was actually dropped in my spirit to do a fundraiser for persons battling cancer, because my sister is my cancer warrior.
Wow.
Um, she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer at the tender age of 30. So she spent her what you call your dirty 30s, going through chemo treatments and all those things, because she had not breast, she had ovarian cancer, colon cancer twice, and cervical
Oh.
cancer.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so I started the foundation to honor her. And then my grandmother and all of my dad's sisters have all been diagnosed with either breast or ovarian cancer. So this was why God placed this on my heart to start a foundation in honor of my sister. She's still with us, kicking, living,
Yay.
making hell for anybody else. But
Mhm.
I started it for her. And now here we are, getting ready to celebrate 10 years of making a difference.
Wow. So that is awesome, and I'm glad she's still with us. I didn't
Yes,
want
ma'am.
to ask, but
Yeah,
okay.
she's still with us.
So that's great. So what are some of the activities
Mhm.
that you do to raise funds for the foundation?
When we first started, like I said, it was the golf tournament. That didn't work out too well. So I switched gears and did a miniature golf tournament.
Hmm.
And so that's our signature event, doing a miniature golf tournament, either September or October of the year, so that we can incorporate families, because my organization is only as good as it is because of my family. My mother is my number one supporter. My mother I've dragged her with every place I've gone. You know, she's been my counsel. She's been my prayer warrior. She's been my biggest support to help me get this off the ground and then keep it going. When my arms got weary and I was like, I can't do this anymore, you know, like Moses when they crossed in the Red Sea, you know, when he
Hmm.
couldn't do it anymore, what happened when he lifted his hands up and his sons raised the hands, put it under him, it gave him the strength to get through. That's my mom. And
Wow.
so she has inspired me to keep with this miniature golf tournament because it's family. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your athletic ability. It doesn't matter, you know, if you know how to play or not. It is just getting families together to come out and put away cancer. That's why I have the name. So it's golfing related, but it's not golf specific.
Wow. So
Mhm.
so is this your primary career or job?
No, no, it's not. I actually have a full-time job.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I work with Ascension. I'm the market manager for consumer experience. So it's always about providing that best experience and being a listening ear to those that are in need and might need support from somebody else to their journey or to address concerns that they may have. So I'm still in that field of being a community person. When I first started Put Away Cancer, because I saw it on a flyer, I was working with University Health System,
Okay.
um, and I was working with the CPRIT grant, the Cancer Prevention Research Institute of Texas. They had a grant they funded UHS to do a women's health program where we were able to provide um, uh, mammograms at no cost to women within that target area.
Hmm.
And if they were found to have an abnormality in their breast, we partnered with the BCCS program in order to get those, to get the biopsies done, and then to also help with reconstructive surgery and things like that if that was to come, if it came to that point. So I did do that in the earlier part of Put Away Cancer. I was already working in that field. And so when God gifted me with this vision, then I was able to tug on some ladies and say, hey, I have an opportunity for you. Here's my card. Call me if you know, like to apply. And I don't care if you made $1 million or if you made $0. The way we do our fundraising is it's to bless the person that's battling cancer. That is your only requirement. I don't ask about your economic status or nothing because everyone needs help sometimes, right? And I want to bless people. For the most part, the people that we've blessed needed it. Those that I've come across that may not have needed it, they'll be like, hey, instead, could you give this to such and such? You know, so and that's what we will do. But it's for the cancer warrior, and that's the reason why I started. I mean, that's how I first started getting my warriors was through that grant program.
Wow. So do you collaborate with any other organizations um, for support or
I
so,
don't.
so what other services like okay you do the cancer the put away for cancer, but what else does your organization provide?
So the Put Away Cancer, so it's the Put Away Cancer Foundation. And
Okay.
so when we do our miniature golf tournament, that's our signature fundraiser. But
Okay.
we sometimes do telethons, like for the last maybe 2 or 3 years, I've done a telethon between May and June. And
Okay.
so the telethon is, you know, we'll be on for a few hours. We may have either poets or singers or something, you know, to help engage the audience, and people call and they pledge their money. So
Okay.
that's an easy event to do, but that's one of the fundraisers we do. Um, this year, because it's year 10, I'm planning to do my banquet at the end of the year. Um, and I really haven't quite figured out if I'm going to still do the miniature golf tournament or not, considering my job is really demanding and I'm in a whole different state that I was when I first started my organization. I have to carefully plan how I allot my time.
Wow. So when you say state, you physical state or state of
No,
mind?
state of mind.
Oh, okay. Okay.
State of mind with my like I say, my job is this time. So trying to coordinate my off time with doing the going and raising funds, getting sponsorships and things like that for that event. It's, a lot more time consuming.
Hmm.
And I'm already trying to do that for the banquet. So I'm like, well, am I going to do that, or am I going to do something else that's going to be a little bit simpler? So I've coming up with some other ideas. This year, I just don't know that it's going to be the miniature golf tournament.
Wow. So you've been in operation for 10 years. That's a great milestone. And
Yes,
so
ma'am.
you're going to be celebrating that. Is that what the banquet is for? To celebrate
Yes,
the 10th
it's
anniversary?
Put Teen Away Cancer, 10 years of impact. That's my theme.
Wow. So how many lives do you think you've impacted over the past 10 years? And how many people have you helped? Is it just women or is it men as
No,
well?
I mean, I think we've had two youth. Bryce Strong, that passed away of cancer. He was one of my warriors that we were able to bless. And then there's another young man, a baby. I think he was 2 years old, that we gave
Oh,
an award. No, there's three. There's three youth that we've given awards to. I would say on average, I think the most I've done in a year time, because it's always in November. In a year's time, the most I've done was 9 warriors.
wow.
Um, and
Phenomenal.
over the 10 years, I would say maybe a little over 30.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
a little over 30.
Yeah, so that's
Then also have the okay, let me name these right. So my Circle of Hope Award is for the person that's battling cancer. And that's the Crystal Brenner Circle of Hope Award, and they use that as their own discretion. My second award is called the Linda C. Bryant Hope Scholarship, and that's for graduating Texas high school seniors. That's been my hardest one to promote. I've gone to send information to the schools. I've put out flyers. It's hard to get students um, to um, apply for that one. So I've only given away 3 of those.
wow.
And that's a surprise. Kids don't want money for school, but that's okay. That money just gets allocated back into, the programming or whatever it is we're doing. But yeah, those are the two things that I do with the funds that we raise.
Wow. So do they have to qualify for it? What do they have to do to qualify to get the awards?
For the cancer warrior, their diagnosis is their qualification. So
Okay.
we do have a application on our website, www.putawaycancer.org. That's put with 2 T's. They go to Put Away Cancer, and about us, go to the Hope Awards, and then they can apply. Their diagnosis, again, is their qualification, and it's a one-page application. It needs to be signed by a doctor to certify that they had been in fact diagnosed with cancer. And then that's it, because that's all we care about, is that we can confirm that we're giving our monies to the right persons. And then the Hope Scholarship for the Texas graduating high school senior, there is a 3-step application process. It's real simple. It's still a one page application, mostly about the community service and their GPA. And then they have to do a little video about themselves, where they're going off to college and stuff. And that's it. It's real simple.
Wow. So this is phenomenal work that you're doing, for cancer survivors. Um, it's a great initiative, um, and I know it's time consuming because anytime you have to organize events, and you have to have volunteers and people to help, and sometimes you're the sole volunteer to do most of the work. So
I
I
have an
commend.
amazing board for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I commend you for the work that you do and that you're doing. So,
Thank you.
are there any other community efforts that you're involved in or have been involved in over the years?
Over the years, I was a member of the Cancer Action Network, with the American Cancer Society, um, only because I wanted to learn more about the legislative process when it comes to lobbying for cancer. And
Wow.
that's what my master's is in public administration. Um, since then, I'm not no longer a member with the Cancer Action Network, but I'm on their email list, and I keep up with the things that are going on. Um, So I remember with that, I used to be a part of a mentoring program with young girls, just because I have a daughter. I have two amazing daughters, one by bonus and one by birth. And I wanted to be able to, show them what it was to be a woman of integrity. And so now I've been blessed with three beautiful granddaughters. And
Oh,
while I'm not mentoring in a program someplace, I do mentor with my daughter with them as far as, again, showing them what it is to be an upstanding woman.
wow. So you are amazing. Your work is amazing. We just wanted to take the time to say Happy Women's History Month from TAN TV.
Thank you. Thank
You were
you.
recommended by Annette Godfrey. And, I texted you a couple of times and called you a couple of times and plugged the wrong number in my phone with the
I
four
was
instead
like,
of the
I haven't
seven.
seen any messages.
And I'm like, that's not, I said, I don't really know Marissa, but I don't think she would not call back. And
That's
so,
right.
uh, Annette said, hey, can you call um, um, Marissa, because she said she hadn't heard from you. And so I said, I looked the number back up again. I said, I know I texted you. And I looked up the number that I text the message to, and then I looked at your number and I said, oh, that's why, because I had to find but I am so
Girl, that's all right.
but I am so
But see
glad
that,
that
see that the universe didn't want two awesome women to get together. That's all that was.
I know, right, right, right.
Hmm.
So that's
Hmm.
okay. They can't stop us. We're
They
unstoppable.
can't stop us. That's right.
But it was just so great to speak with you and learn a little bit more about you. Well, a lot more about you, because I didn't really know you, up close and personal. But I
That's right.
appreciate all that you do. It's Women's History Month on TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with the global reach. And thank you so much, Marissa, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come talk to us for a little bit so that we can learn about your living history.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thank
So,
you. It was my pleasure.
all right. You're welcome, and have a great rest of your evening.
You too.
All righty. Bye bye.